opinyon ni Senator Miriam Defensor-Santiago sa iba't ibang mga isyu sa pagpapatuloy ng Bawal Ang Pasaway kay Maring Winnie.
Bakit
Because
kaya hindi siya nag-a-appeal?
Ang sagot niya sa akin, because it has already prejudged me. Unfortunately, there is no legal basis for such an answer.
Sabi ni Binay, yung sinasabi ni Mercado, lahat kasinungalingan.
But that is not a legally acceptable defense. No person is allowed to say, he's just telling a lie. You prove that he's telling a lie. Because once he presents evidence, kung meron siyang inimbento na ebidensya niya, no, apart from his testimonial evidence, kung meron siyang hawak, it becomes your burden to dispute it with countervailing evidence. Magpresenta ka ng ebidensya mo. Kaya all I'm saying is, magpresenta ka ng ebidensya mo. Kasi ang kalaban, binigyan na ng buong laya na magbigay ng kung ano-anong ebidensya laban sa iyo. And they are very damaging. Kaya ngayon, ilabas mo na rin ang ebidensya mo.
But he doesn't want to present it there. He wants to present it in court, in the Sandigan Bayan.
In the Sandigan, which is, well, in the first place, he has no such prerogative. That is not given to him. There is no such thing as the right to choose your own forum. In fact, the Supreme Court has disciplined many lawyers because they were forum shopping, to which the Supreme Court is extremely adverse to. You cannot choose where you will be tried.
Kayo naging hukom, hindi ba? You were a judge of the court of first instance. Kung itong kaso ni Binay ay nasa harap niyo ngayon, ano ang advice niyo or...
In a regular court proceeding, in a criminal case, the burden of proof is on the prosecutor. That is the only meaning of presumption of innocence. Hindi na innocent ka na lang until the day of the judgment. Kung hindi na, you're simply required to stay still while the one who is accusing you is required to present evidence. That's all that the presumption of innocence means.
Okay.
Ngayon, so the flow of the court proceeding is that the prosecution presents evidence first, then the defense presents its evidence. So what I'm saying is, in effect, the prosecution has already presented its evidence. In effect, it opened a Pandora's box. You can investigate anything, just say that eventually tomorrow you will present some piece of legislation. But anyway, it is a legitimate inquiry in aid of legislation. What legislation? Well, legislation, for example, to prevent public officials from acquiring or hiring dummies if they want to hide their unexplained wealth, things like this. It can always be defended. So I'm strongly recommending that Mr. Binay, as the accused, or we call him in law, the respondent, or just to use a very neutral term, a person in interest, as they say in the United States, as a person in interest, should present this evidence as well. Just stop maligning Mercado, because you already know that Mercado is maligning Binay. There is no doubt about that. But by way of maligning, Mercado's been presenting evidence, so let Binay now stop maligning and present his evidence too. He's saying it's a prejudged conclusion. There is no verdict at the end of a legislative inquiry. No verdict of innocence or guilt is pronounced. We just say, okay, closed. Now we are going to present this bill. Or if necessary, we say, okay, let's present it to the ombudsman, but it's already there in the ombudsman. So in this case, still becomes superfluous.
Sinasabi nila bias na bias daw yung...
Maaari. Now, the senators should understand also, maybe they do, that the public is judging them as well. This is not a court of law. This is an inquiry in aid of legislation. The Supreme Court is very careful to emphasize that. You can investigate almost anything as long as you can tie it up sooner or later, proximately or far off, to some legislative intent.
Ano ang opinion nyo of the way si Senator Coco Pimentel, si Senator Cayetano, at saka si Senator Trillanes have been conducting themselves in this public hearing?
Well, they look like a person na nakatanggap ng hulog sa langit. Akala nila, TV ito araw-araw, gabi-gabi. But what about social media? Social media is very critical. Social media tends to think that the entire government bureaucracy is sclerotic. Something is wrong somewhere, everywhere. They conduct it in such a way as to make it scandalous. And you lose all sense of neutrality. You sense that these people are already against the person they're investigating.
So Vice President Binay is right.
He could be very well right, but
Okay.
that is not a basis for him to say, I will not participate because they've prejudged me.
In other words, pagkatapos nitong hearing ng Senate, hindi naman magsasabi na sino ang tama at sino mali.
Right.
Sino ang magsasabi noon? Yung publiko.
Ang publiko.
Ayun.
Kasi magagawa lang at the very worst.
Kung hindi mag-appear si Vice President Binay sa Senado,
Ang narinig lang yung nakakasama sa kanya.
Oo.
Hindi naririnig ngayon yung side niya. Sabihin niya, but I've been going around the country delivering public speeches. You have to deliver your defense in the form and in the manner which is demanded by law. You have to appear before the hearing and say your piece.